Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the morning coffee stroke early show. It's early, and somebody's actually joined me at this time. That is amazing. Good morning, stranger in the ranks. Say hello. It'd be nice to know who's here. I don't actually expect many people to be here because it is 6:30 in the morning. Solly, how are you? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for staying up. Thank you so much. We were trying to move across to Instagram because my streams at night time were keeping up my family. Basically because I had a big backdrop, but last night on Ron's stream I didn't have that backdrop anymore, so we were trying something different. And where's my coffee? So we're trying something different again here, where I can stream, but not be intrusive on my family's life at all. So I got up at 6 and came on here. I don't think I'm being that loud. I don't think that I'm doing anything, which is great. Can you hear me okay, Solway? I always do a wee sound check because my laptop is sometimes not the best, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, listen, I have to come backwards and forwards to check the chat because the chat is not on this one. It's on, hang on, I'll flick the camera around. Oh, come on, flick round, damn you. It's on this setup there. That's what I stream from. You know, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. The other thing that we do in the morning is we make coffee, we make porridge, we look at the weather, the local weather. What happened? But anyway, we're going to make coffee. We're going to make coffee the Rab way. Can you do that? I need to fix this. Hold on a second. Hold on. That's better. You were sitting in the wrong part of the tripod. Look at the COVID caveman hairdo. It's like, I need to see a hairdresser. I need to see a hairdresser now because my hair's all bam pot. So in the mornings, we always make coffee the Rab way. coffee the Rab way is just the way that a friend of mine made coffee. If you don't know how to do it, the story behind it is Rab and I worked together about 16 years ago. That's how long ago this is. And I made him coffee the way that I made coffee. And he took... I'll do an impression of Rab. What's this? I think Mo. I'll be making the coffee from now on. So he does it by mixing the instant grind, with the milk first of all, like I'm doing it now. Make sure as much of it's dissolved, and then pours the water in. Then gives it another stir. And that's how easy it is. I don't know what it does to it. It makes the coffee so much nicer. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's amazing. Rab. He sometimes comes on the stream, and he the first time he actually came on, I was in the middle of making coffee the Rab way. I hadn't spoken to him in about 3 years, and I said, making coffee the Rab way, and I was in the kitchen like this, and I didn't know he was on the stream because I can't tell who's on. And there he was, and he was laughing his head off, going, Mo, what are you doing saying you're making coffee the Rab way? And I was like, oh my God, it's Rab. It's the man behind the coffee. It was amazing. One of those perfect personal internet sort of moments, which is good. Right, porridge is dead easy. Now, this is not a recipe show, by the way. If anything, it's a recipe for disaster. Porridge is easy. We just take a handful and half a handful of porridge, enough milk to cover the porridge, and then a wooden spoon. It can only ever be a wooden spoon. I can't... Where's my wooden spoon? There it is. Honestly, if I didn't have Woody here, I would not be able to make porridge. It always has to be a wooden spoon. It doesn't work with a metal one. It tastes different. And then on a low to medium heat. And that is it. We leave that to go until it starts to get itself into a position. COVID, caveman, thank you. You can hear me perfectly. That's great. Listen, so thank you for joining me live. I don't expect many people to be here at this time, but I get more people watching back my stuff than I do people live. And you have braved the nighttime elements to find out what has happened to that poor little terrapin. And I will continue that story this morning as well, just to tell you what happened to the terrapin and the dog, and also tell you about the next set of tenants in the house across the street. And while we do the weather, which is going to be through the window, I will accidentally, on purpose, point to the living room window, okay, of the person. So usually I sing a jingle at this point to say, here, this is the weather, but we're not going to do that. But let's have a look out. Listen. Do you hear the birdies? I don't know if the microphone will pick it up. Oh, it's amazing. Right, anyway, weather. Looking east, it's incredibly overcast. It could be because the sun's not burned through the clouds yet. We get that here quite a lot. And then panning west, it's all it is. My iPhone just crashed for the first time on me. Can you believe that? Just as I'm doing this particular thing. That is so weird. Weird as hell. Good job. I've got Studio Cam here, which is amazing. Yes, it's not a bad morning out there. I'm going to go and finish the weather in a second, but I need to get this phone back on again so I can what's it called? So I can go and finish this because I need to walk around the house. Crazy times. There we go. Paste and go. That was weird. That was weird indeed. We've got a couple of other people joining us. That's amazing. Say hello, people. Say hello. And tell me that you're alive. Tell me that you're well. Tell me that things are good wherever you are while we wait to get into the stream system again, I guess. Allow that to work. And one second. Hold on. Oh, there's Grandma. Yes, hold on. And I think we're back. I think we're safe. Yes, can let me just put this big guy on. Yeah, amazing. Right, okay. Are we back? Can you hear me again before I move on anywhere? Because my phone just flipping around. There we go. My phone just crashed a minute. Bilbo Evans. Good morning, Bilbo. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us indeed. We've already made our coffee. We're halfway through the weather out the window there, and my phone decided just to switch itself off, which is crazy. Crazy. Right, hold on a second. Check the sound. Yes, it's working. That's good. Right, let's go back to the weather. Okay. We have a wee look around. It's not a bad day. It's a bit breezy. We check the wind on the bushes down below there. If the little bushes are blowing, and then look at the bigger bushes. Yes, those bigger bushes are blowing as well. There's a freight train going past in the distance. Amazing. Good to hear those running again. And then we check the trees as well. If the trees are blowing, it's definitely a windy day. The trees are a wee bit blowy. The ground is damp. It has been raining overnight. Will it rain today? I don't know. I could look at a weather app, but I'm not going to in the slightest. And it keeps doing strange things. Right. I'm all good. Thank you, Solway. I can't wait for my tech upgrade. When the tech upgrade comes, we're going to have so much more fun. It means I can use Streamlabs instead of StreamYards, which is great. Right, that porridge is ready as well. We timed that perfectly. And Grandma, it's okay. I've taken my medication today. I'm not going to fall to pieces. My medication is it's basically thyroxine in a pill, because during my very, very aggressive treatment last year for cancer, which I survived beautifully, by the way, but I had quite intensely aggressive treatment. Part of the treatment was an experimental drug, and this experimental drug made my body digest its own thyroid gland. It attacked it, broke it down, and brought it into my body. So my body produces no thyroxine whatsoever, which is not a good thing, because thyroxine is an enabler. It actually enables other hormones to work as well as doing its own job. Right, we need golden syrup. Where's the golden syrup? There it is. The other good thing about the tech upgrade when it comes is I can cook live. Again, without any interruption, I can get all 3 cameras on the go, which will just be amazingly perfect. Right. I am being so quiet just now. Unbelievably quiet, because I don't want my family to wake up while I'm doing this. Oh, look at that. Oh, golden syrup. Oh, yummy. Oh. That will warm up on the porridge and become beautiful. That's amazing. Yeah, there's 2 hashtags that I like. One of them is the COVID caveman. Hashtag COVID caveman. That's to do with everybody's hairdos. We're all going to walk out of our houses after lockdown looking like cavemen. And the other one that I like to use is hashtag it's a thing. And if I was ever to do like hoodies or anything like that, those are the ones that I would turn into merch. Okay, we're now going to do the swap over of the tech. So first thing first is we have to mute this camera, unmute this one. Hold on, we're echoing. Is that okay? Why are we echoing? Oh. There you go. We are removing ourselves from the stream and no echo. Amazing. What am I eating? Hi, Jessie. I am eating porridge. I eat porridge in the morning. It's a Scottish thing. You've got to have porridge. And then on a Sunday, I treat myself to porridge and whiskey. Yes, indeed. A little shot of whiskey. Actually, that's only on Christmas Day. That's the only time I ever have porridge and whiskey. It's amazing. Porridge and whiskey is something totally special. And Solway, you're still on the cider. At this time? Whereabouts are you, Solway? Whereabouts are you? Are you somewhere warm just now, you know? Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Mm-mm-mm. Right. Oh, yeah. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining me this early in the morning. Between Facebook and YouTube, it's nice to have people here. What we usually do on the morning stream, if you're new to us, we're very informal compared to what I do at night time. And basically because my family could wake up at any time, and you'll see teenagers walking past and babies crying and stuff. And that's kind of the way that it is. So we're very informal, but I always start by making coffee the Rab way. Rab will probably on back watching this later. There's a story behind that, but we'll talk about it again tomorrow. We'll talk about it every morning. Then we do the weather through the weather window, just my local weather. Pick up the porridge that I've made while making coffee, and then come back and sit at the laptop and have a look at the morning papers. And I usually get triggered at the ineptitude of the UK government in ways that you couldn't possibly imagine. I don't report the news. I don't make the news or anything like that whatsoever. What I do is I talk about the news and give you my opinion on it. I'm not right or wrong, but my opinion is purely just that. It is an opinion. We're also doing something special today. We will do what happened to the terrapin, and we will also talk about the next chapter of the crazy neighbours, and that'll be in about 15 minutes time, and then we'll call it the end of the day, because then I will have to tidy up my mess and then prepare to get on with the rest of the day. But in the meantime, let's stop rambling and let's just go to the papers and have a good look at them, see what's happening in the world. Okay, Daily Telegraph. When I looked at these earlier on, the theme is government's right, government's wrong. And we want to form our own opinion of this. So the Daily Telegraph leads with a headline of "Risk of virus spreading to schools is extremely low." Now, why is that? Why is that? A study being considered by the government suggests coronavirus does not spread widely in schools. What? Really? Okay, so what? Sorry, that is just lunacy. The Daily Telegraph reports, this is supposed to be a quality paper. The paper says the report found 18 infected students and teachers across 15 schools, and it only passed the virus on to 2 others. Why is that? Is the virus got like a little sort of like, we're at the school, we're not gonna spread ourselves around, you know? No, we're not gonna, because we're just not, because we feel sorry for the kids. That's mental. Mental. It's like saying, you know, they don't spread around shops or offices. Maybe it doesn't spread around at all. Maybe the whole thing's a myth. Hold on. Right. That is my alarm going off again. We will push the stop button. Good. But no, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It doesn't make sense, because why would the virus not spread around the school? Schools are clean, okay? Schools are clean. They have to be. They've got like custodians of cleanliness, right, that go around and they're constantly cleaning. So yeah, and even more so now, you can imagine if the schools are open. But that is absolute, that is nonsense of the first degree. I've never heard anything so stupid in all my life, right? And there's also a little article which will be up later on. Where is it? Vaccine for 30 million could be here by autumn. Amazing. Police to block entry into crowded trains. So it's okay though, but you've got to look at this. If it's not spreading around schools, it means the trains should also be okay. So bullshit there. And an app. I mean, if I was the editor of the Telegraph, I would never have allowed that headline to be on the same page as that headline. That it just contradicts everything. It's like Gove yesterday or the day before. Yesterday it was. He was on the television and he says, no, the schools are okay, but everybody needs to stay at home. Schools are okay, but stay at home. Schools are okay, stay at home. Schools are okay. Do you get my point? The government has no idea what it's actually doing. I'm going to see if I can find a video as well. Joe News. Because there's a great video my mum actually sent me through WhatsApp. And we'll see if we can find it, because it puts the whole perspective of the government in absolute perfect place. Joe's kind of like a comedy news site, and it does real stuff as well. No, I can't find it there. Never mind. We will come back to it. Daily Mirror. Are our kids safe or not, Mr. Gove? Here we go. This is exactly what I was talking about. Top Tory says schools absolutely safe. Then seconds later, backtracks. Classroom safety leads the Daily Mirror, which reports that the Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove told the BBC's Andrew Marr on Sunday that schools are absolutely safe before saying people should stay at home, as there's always a risk. If I had a sound effect thing right now, I'd be pushing it for some crazy sound about bullshit like bullshit, 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 bullshit. It's like saying kids don't get the flu. That's exactly right, Solway. I think kids have a strong immune system. By keeping them locked up, it will get weaker. Yes, I totally agree, Bilbo. What you've got to look at in the grand scheme of things here is we need good bacteria and good viruses, the things that kind of live within us and on us. Now, these things live for months within us and on us. And rubbing shoulders with people and rolling in the muck of life outside of your sterile bubble and outside of your house, it is truly like depleting the immune system. Of course it is. Constantly washing your hands depletes the immune system. This is why I know that my house is clean. I know that my house is virus free because when everybody goes to bed at night time, what I do is I do wipe down the surfaces. Now the reason being for that is I don't want to get it because it would ravage me as a person, you know? And that's because my immune system's not as strong as well. Again, that's from cancer last year. That is why I'm kind of shielding behind the walls of my house. I only go as far as my car or the back garden. And that's it. So I rub shoulders with my family. I roll in the muck of my garden. Metaphorically, I don't actually roll in the muck. And anybody coming into the house, they do wash their hands. Do I wash my hands every hour inside my house? No, I don't. Not at all. If I was coming in and out the house all the time, then perhaps, yeah, but not directly at all. And I'm still here. It's all good. Let's go back to the papers and see what other nonsense the government is saying. The Metro. Ooh, whoever this dude is, he's making lots of sourdough. We like sourdough. I'm going to make some sourdough. Getting back on tracks. Rail services are ramped up today. 70% of usual timetables to be restored. Capacity just 10% of normal level. Social distancing. Rows left free. So every second row. Well, why don't they, instead of calling them trains, why don't they call them mobile schools? Because that way the virus wouldn't spread as much inside a train or public transport, because it's a mobile school. Have a school teacher as a ticket collector on the train just to fool the virus a little bit. I think that's a great idea. The I, oh my God. I still have never figured out what I stands for. Is it the Informer? It's not the Independent, because there's a paper called Independent. Is it the Informer? Is it the I See the Truth? Is it the Incapable? I don't know. I've always wondered what I stands for. Anyway, PM's virus safety inspections. Maybe it stands for inspections. No. PM's virus safety inspections at work don't exist. Wow. Workplace safety inspections heralded by Boris Johnson don't exist, the iPaper says. The paper report that a health and safety executive as saying companies should self-police social distancing rules as it protects its own inspectors. So the health and safety inspectors are not coming out because they're getting protected. Oh my God, Cognac. I love you, man. I love you. And I miss you. And I can't wait to hang out with you again. Cognac is irregular on the evening show. For anybody watching, Mr. Cognac, we are trying something here, trying not to wake up the family and see if, because I've got this lovely new microphone. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's called a Snowball. And the Snowball is good. Look, I don't know if anybody's wearing stereo headphones, but I can do this sort of amazing thing and jump into your left ear and then go in that ear and then come out the other. So if you're wearing stereo headphones, you can have Mo do ASMR. Stuff in your ears, but only if you're wearing headphones or have stereo speakers on. That's how it works. That is how it works. Right, let's have a look at the chat. Yeah. Solway says, Mojax. Thank you, Cognac. That's brilliant. That's a belter. Yeah, it's all about common sense. It's about common sense. It's about doing what you think's right. Take the advice of the government. Take the advice of medical people. I think it's important. And you don't need to take any advice I give, because I am not an expert in anything. I'm only an expert in what I do personally. And that is it. I'm an expert in me. I'm not an expert in you. Just remember that. Really important. Really, really important. Okay, let's bring up the big screen for the rest of the papers. That means I can hide behind it and have some porridge as we scroll down. Right, the Times. UK wants 30 million doses of vaccine in 4 months. Amazing. Tough quarantine plan scuppers holiday hopes. Hopes that Britons would be able to enjoy foreign holidays this summer without entering a 14-day quarantine on their return have been dashed. The Times reports the papers say lorry drivers will make up the majority of those from the new exempted from the new measure due to begin next month. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. If you have quarantine in place and you allow people to be here that have travelled from somewhere that doesn't have the same standards as you, they could potentially infect hundreds of thousands. Listen, they've done the maths. They know how this works. If you have this virus, the chances are you will infect at least 3 people. They will then infect at least 3 people. And that goes on and on and on. And as soon as if you go 10 deep, all right, by the time you get to the 10th level of infection, that is 58,000 people infected. Do you get me? So one lorry driver could infect the entire population. So it's either all or nothing. It's all or friggin' nothing. Okay, if you don't want the lorry drivers to be in quarantine, it's dead easy. The drivers that are coming over from Europe drop their trailers and then just turn right back round and piss off back. Is that, I'm not a politician. Is that not common sense? That doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. Crazy world, crazy stuff. Daily Mail, oh God, the Daily Rag. That's what I call this. Is a proper Tory paper. Half of Britons could get jab in months. 30 million COVID vaccine doses will be ready by September if trials are successful. Half of all people in the UK could be vaccinated against the coronavirus if an Oxford University trial succeeds, the Daily Mail says. It reports Business Secretary Alok Sharma's comments that 30 million doses of this could be ready by September if the vaccine is shown to work. That's good. We like that idea. I like the idea. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but Will I be taking this vaccine? I'll be the last to take it, but I do feel that our leaders should be the first to take it publicly by an independent doctor that has nothing to do with it, and it has to be. I think they should all take it. I think that every single one of them should take it publicly. It's the only way to instill trust in it, to be perfectly honest. You know? It's crazy. Daily Express, Britain's race to get 30 million to get vaccinated by autumn. That's great. Oh, look, the Financial Times now. If you're new to us here, we like the Financial Times because, look at this. We'll do it on the bigger window. Hold on. The Financial Times is the same colour as Mojax Happy's book wall. Look, that is the colour of the paper. And look at the colour. Hang on, this is in the way. Let me just move this around. See that? It's the same colour. That is the only reason why we like the Financial Times. I'm not interested in that part of the newspapers, but we do stop at it. Powell warns that the US recovery could take until the end of 2021. Probably. Not interested in that. I'm interested in the fact that our taxes are going up and our wages are going to stay the same. There will be zero growth. The UK's competition watchdog is asking the government for emergency powers to stop companies profiteering from the coronavirus pandemic. The Financial Times reports the time-limited measures would allow the Competition and Markets Authority to pursue retailers who hike up the prices. That is a friggin' great idea. Absolutely. Yes, I am going to quickly look at the chat. I've just seen what Solway said. Let Boris take it first in public. Yeah, totally. Boris, in fact, he should get a double dose. Be funny if this vaccination was the instigator for the zombie apocalypse and half the population get it, including Boris. And it only affects those people that have actually, if you have the virus and then you take the vaccine, that's the trigger. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. They'll have the Scottish version of the walk indeed called the Ramble indeed. Look at them. They're all friggin' walking around with like drunken bastards over there. That's like a typical Saturday night up the toon, you know? Let's crack on with the papers, shall we? The Guardian, ministers under fire amid chaos over contact tracing. Right, obviously this is to do with the app that the government are trying to push out, which incidentally, okay, let's see if I still got this picture. Hold on a second. We may still have the picture of the wanker that is making this. Hold on. Yes, we do. This guy here. All right. This guy here is a friend of Lord Voldemort. Okay. Lord Voldemort being Dominic Cummings. And this man was given a 250 million NHS contract when Lord Voldemort entered Downing Street. And he has access to all the data on the NHS and is also the software engineering company head person, or him himself, that is producing the government's track and trace software for the app, which is proven in its test runs in the Isle of Man not to work properly at all. It's like only 1 in 10 times is it working. So my thing is here, first of all, Dominic Cummings, don't trust him at all. I would rather trust Boris Johnson than Dominic Cummings by a long shot. Okay. And I certainly don't trust the guy that has made that app, because anybody that is a friend of Dominic Cummings is certainly not a friend to the United Kingdom in the slightest. I've got a picture somewhere. I keep meaning to put it up, so I use it. It does a side by side of Dominic Cummings and Lord Voldemort. The only difference between them both is Dominic Cummings still has a nose, because at this particular point in history, he has not cut off his nose yet to spite his face. You know, it's crazy, crazy. Those are the eyes of a sociopath. Oh yeah. I don't want a face like that knowing where. I don't want any of them knowing where. I mean, we know from our discussions, if they wanted to, they could find you anywhere. That's fine. I get that. But do you know something? Nah, I'm not wanting to give them the opportunity to actually do it all the time. No way. Not happening. Not happening at all. Back to the papers. Here we go. The Sun. Exclusive lockdown cops nick Chelsea's Hudson's odd right. England ace held over 4 a.m. model route. Oh wow. The Sun reports that Chelsea player Callum Hudson-Odoi was arrested after an early morning row with a glamour model at his West London apartment. Glamour model is the euphemism for crack whore. Okay? That's what that is. Yes, he was probably having a prosy round at his place, doing prosy things. Lady of the night, lady in red, sex worker. Nothing wrong with them. You can label them as you like. There's a whole market for it. It needs to be regulated. It needs to keep the women safe, to stop assholes like this having a row over nonsense. The paper says England striker is being held by police over the incident. Yeah, okay. Maybe that thing that they're doing to stop companies hike up their prices is what happened there, you know, in the sense that maybe she put up her prices and he's going, what? That's not what, no, you have never paid that amount for sex, you know? That company, the organisation, the watchdog for monopolies and stuff like that, the business watchdog, needs to go and speak to her and say, look, you can't hike up your prostitution prices just because it's a virus going on just now. You know, crazy. Good morning, Good Morgan. Guten Morgen, Morgan. I've wanted to say that for ages. Morgan in the house. Brilliant. Good. Right. Let's mosey along. We're just about finished the papers. Daily Star. Here's a little something to welcome the Star readers back. Yeah, let's put cleavage on the front page. People get their Instagram accounts closed down for images like that. You know? People get their YouTube accounts closed down because of that. But it's okay for a newspaper to slap it on the front page. You know, I've got nothing against the human body at all. I think that we're all beautiful people. And it's your self-confidence that is the ability to exude how much skin you should deliberately show. If you don't want to show something, don't show it. If you want to show cleavage, show cleavage. If you want to show your butt, show butt. But, you know, if the rules of something says, right, that's a bit too much, then abide by the rules. You know, some people, you don't have to do it. It's your right to do it, but you don't have to do it. You know, it's crazy. Anyway, at last Harry pays up. Don't care, Harry. I would have him on the show in a heartbeat. He is a handsome ginger man just like me. I swear to God, I think he would be great as a co-host. You know, with his rambling posh accent, we'd have to have subtitles underneath it. But Harry, yes, I'm Harry. I was a soldier, yes, and I told my grandmother to piss right off and stuck with my wife, and we went to Canada, and they didn't want us there, so we're now in America. We're doing things in America, yeah. And I'm going to go back to Africa because I love that country. I love hunting there. Yes, I love hunting the wildlife because that's what us royals do. Yes, we like it. We do it very well, indeed. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are to repay taxpayer contributions towards the refurbishment of their home on the Queen's Windsor estate, the Daily Star reports. That's brilliant. That that it says the Daily Star, at last Harry pays up. Sorry, I think all the royals should be doing that. Just because he's not officially on the list that gets paid by the taxpayer anymore. Okay, just because of that doesn't mean, it does mean it shows integrity that he's willing to move on with his life away from the royal thing. I just think that they make enough friggin' money as it is. Pay for their own upkeeps, unless they're going to open every single house that's been upgraded and redecorated by public money. Unless they're going to open them to the public to pay for that, then yeah, then that's cool. Wow, it will take 11 years to clear the multi-million cost for renovations. That's fine. Oh look, that's the end of the papers. Amazing. Isn't that good? You survived the papers. Isn't that amazing? Okay, let's have a quick look. Hypocrisy is the way of the world. It works in a way. Yeah, I agree. Hypocrisy is always the case. It's always the case. It's a bit disappointing in the grand scheme of things. As we tell the story of what actually happened with the terrapin, I will briefly recap that story for people that didn't know what was actually going on with it. So across the land, across the way from me, I have a house that you can see right into the window, and when it's a social house, it's like a council house, same as mine. And across there, we had a tenant at one point that was a bit crazy. It involved crazy stuff like his brother being thrown out the window, and it's like 1 story up, and an ambulance being called. The guy that lived in there was constantly on legal highs. So the legal highs guy, it really messed with his brain. And eventually the police had to be called, and they cordoned off the whole neighbourhood just about, because the chap there was standing on his window ledge threatening to jump out the window. I ended up looking after his dog, because before all this kicked off, he was shouting on me, and I was kind of his anchor in the neighbourhood, the sense of reality, because I stood up to him all the time. He's a big lad, 6'5", like an inverted triangle of a lean muscular mass. If he threw a punch at me, I wasn't getting up from that. He was a big laddie, and I'm pretty much not afraid of anybody when it comes to stuff like that. And I put him in his place verbally, because he was basically verbally attacking the neighbours after his brother fell out the window, and his excuse for that was they didn't phone the ambulance quick enough. It was lunacy. So the poor, we'll call him Lee, the poor guy, I do feel sorry for him. The start of the night was he was shouting on me because he had a row with his girlfriend, and he said that his girlfriend had glued the eyes closed of his terrapin, his little waterborne turtle type thing. Now, he was holding this terrapin in the hand, and he was poking this poor beastie. Well, my thumb is the beastie's head. He's going, look, Mo. He's not opening its eyes. And I'm looking at him going, because you're poking its friggin' face, mate. If somebody was poking my face, I would be keeping my eyes shut too. But no, he didn't take it. So I said, look, let's get the terrapin back into its tank, mate. It needs to get back into its tank. It's not happy. So he invited me up to continue the conversation into his house. I was thinking, nah, I shouldn't be there, loony. And that's when I saw his dog terrified in the corner. Said I'd look after his dog for the night. Let him, clear his head and all the rest of it. Took his dog. The next thing I knew, after I fed the dog, you're talking now 2 a.m, the dog's waking me up, and there's a whole commotion outside the house. The police are there. 3 police vans at one bit, they're cordoning off the street. There's Lee standing on his edge of his window shouting at the cops.
So I just made a cup of tea and some popcorn and settled down for the night to actually watch how this was unfolding. At one point, Lee started shouting and says, "And she took my dog too." And I'm like, shit, I've got this lunatic's dog in my house. So I open my living room window and shout, "Lee!" And he's screaming and shouting at the cops aggressively, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." And he looks up and he looks at me, and in a perfectly normal tone, he speaks to me. "Hiya, Murray. How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good, Lee. But you've woken me up, mate." He says, "Look, I've got your dog here, remember? Your girlfriend doesn't have your dog." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, that's good. Listen, we'll have a cup of tea tomorrow, mate. I'll speak to you later." And then he starts shouting again at the cops. Total bipolar situation, bless him. You gotta love him. He is, I think he's on the mend now. And we're talking, this is 4 or 5 years ago. I think he's on the mend, doing a lot better. But I told this story on my brother's stream a week ago, and it was to do just a bit of fun at the end of the serial Sunday after being completely harangued by Fred West and Rose West's initial story. So, people were asking me during the week, what happened to the terrapin? #justice for the terrapin. Well, I can exclusively tell you that the terrapin went to a good home. I know this because I asked the police what's happening with the terrapin, because I thought, well, I might take the terrapin, And he says, well, the terrapin has to be kept in the possessions for Lee just now because he's been arrested. He'll probably go to jail, and we can't give anything like that away. So we have facilities where the creatures like this can be looked after and taken and given away. Now, the good home that I'm led to believe that it went to wasn't even just a normal household. It was like a place that displays marine life. So this terrapin went from having its face poked, to now living in a much bigger tank with lots of other terrapin friends, and telling its terrapin friends the story of its crazy owner and the man across the street that probably saved it from getting poked at its wee face all the time. That poor creature. The dog went back to Lee's mum. It was actually Lee's mum's dog, and much to the relief of the dog, I might add, I actually took the dog to the mum because the mum was on standby as the last ditch negotiator and at the standby zone, which was just round the corner. So the police said that's where it was. So it was a happy ending for the doggy, and a very happy ending for the terrapin. I don't know whether there's a place just across in Fife that's like undersea world type thing, and they have tropical fish and big tanks of other animals on display, like marine life. I think it went to there. That poor wee thing. But Lee eventually came back to the apartment and then left again. And he was only back about 3 days before he was arrested for something else, bless him. So the council had him evicted and gave the home to a family of a woman and 2 little girls, and one of the little girls was only about 1.5 to 2 years. The other one was 9, same age as my second from youngest son. So this is chapter 2 of the house across the street. Now, for a whole year, the older little girl used to come across here and play. She had a whole different attitude about things, and I got a bit suspicious because her attitude was like, "I'm hungry." I went, "Okay, I'm hungry." Okay. And I work on the assumption if you want something, you're going to ask for it. Okay, so it was like, okay, so can I have an apple? Yes, you can. Right, so gave her an apple. And this would go on. Every time she was across here, she was always hungry. She was always wanting something. But she had no manners. To begin with, she had no manners. So I turned this into a joke. And I said, Sophie, you want an apple? What? I want an apple. All right, okay. No. What do you mean, no? Well, you have to ask nicely. Can I have an apple, please? And do you think that's nicely? I says, Sophie, I'll give you an apple. And I hand her an apple. And I says, I've got no problem in giving you something to eat if you ask for it. Says, I'm not an ogre. I'm not somebody that's here to hurt you. I'm not somebody that's here to make you jump through hoops. But, you know, these guys here, if they were in your house and they wanted something to eat, they would say to your mum, Sophie's mum, could I have a drink, please? Could I have something to eat, please? They would actually ask for it nicely. So all you got to do is just ask, but just ask nicely, because it's nice to be nice. You're asking for me to give you something. Just be nice about it. And she looked at me as if I was speaking a foreign language. So this went on for the best part of a year. No problem. And, you know, within about a week of me saying that, there was never, ever a problem with her doing this whatsoever. It was perfect. She was a good little girl. She always did those things. Now, she was at a school about a mile's walk from the house. My kids are at a school 5 minutes walk from the house. And I would see little Sophie come in, walk into the house across the street, the same one that Looney Lee was in before. And I knew that her mum wasn't home. Now, she was only seven or 8 at the time. And she's coming home with a house key and letting herself in. Because there was a overlap of about an hour from when she finished school to when her mum finished work. And boyfriend sometimes wasn't in. He was doing his own thing. And baby was in daycare to allow mum to work. It took a while for me to register this. And then, you know, usually boyfriend would be in. Don't get me wrong. Boyfriend would usually be in 9 times out of 10. But there was one time that Sophie came across the road crying her eyes out because nobody was in at all. It wasn't a note. There was usually a note. I said, you come in, just sit down. Gave her a cup of tea, gave her an apple. She didn't have to ask for it. And, you know, settled her down and just kept watching for boyfriend or mum to come back. And then when boyfriend or mum came, it was boyfriend, and he was running along the street shouting, Sophie, 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 where are you? Sophie, 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 Sophie. Yes, shouting away. And I went down and spoke to him and says, I've got Sophie in the house. She came back and nobody was in. Oh, I went to pick her up from the school. We must have passed like 2 ships in the night. You know? Like, okay, right. Between that and this happening, I sent Sophie back across the house with my daughter and my oldest son to leave a note for the family. I'm across at Alia's house. You know, that way everything would be cool. There was another time, Sophie also used to go and spend time with her dad as well. And at weekends and stuff. And her dad seemed to be quite sensible, drove a sensible car, had a sensible job, doing sensible things, reasonably well off, and would spoil his daughter, loved his daughter greatly, loved the time with her. And the next incident that happened was Sophie came home and the police were in the house. Now, I didn't find out what happened for that till about 6 months later, because Sophie then vanished. She was nowhere to be seen at all. And I didn't see the boyfriend or the mum quick enough at any particular moment out the window or in the street for me to say, how is Sophie? Where is Sophie? But I got a bit concerned, and I asked the kids as well, have you heard from Sophie and everything? No, I've not heard from Sophie. I mean, you would do if she was a beautiful little girl. You just turn around and you think to yourself, where is this little girl that nearly spent every day after school for the best part of a year coming in and playing Minecraft on the Xbox with my kids? You know, where is she? So the mum, Sophie's mum, who was always a very pleasant woman, something changed overnight with her, and all of a sudden she started to need nappies from me. And we had a new baby, about the same age, maybe not the same age. Yeah, possibly about the same age actually. 2 now. Baby will be 2 now. Last year would be about 1. So yeah, so baby needed nappies, and Sophie's mum also asked to start borrowing money from me. And I was like, no. When alarm bells start ringing, I'm not going to give anybody money, especially when they smell of alcohol. It's like, no, you're not getting money. It says, I don't keep cash in the house. It's always my excuse. I don't keep cash in the house. All right, could you get us a 10 or 20 quid tomorrow then? No. It says, what is it that you need? Oh, I just don't have any nappies for the baby. It says, right, I'll give you nappies. So I gave her 10 nappies and a packet of wipes and sent her on her way. 3 days later, knocking at the door. Oh, I really need money. I don't have any money. I says, I'm not giving any money, Sophie's mum. It's not happening. How are you for nappies? Oh, I don't have any Right, okay. Give her some more nappies. I didn't mind doing that. Nappies. We've always got nappies in this house, much to my discontent. I hate nappies. But it was all going on. This was all going on like this. And then one particular day, this is the most awful bit. I could hear a baby crying. Well, maybe not so much a baby. I think the kid, the youngest, the one that we were talking about with the nappies, must have been a bit older than my youngest, but still in nappies, able to walk a lot easier, walking around and stuff compared to my boy at the time. And I could hear this kid crying in the street. So I looked at my window, and there's the kid's buggy fallen over on its back like this. I mean, as if the buggy had just been tipped backwards, and the kid is standing in the middle of the fucking road shouting on his mum or her mum, walking up and down the middle of the road. I mean, my shoes were on in a heartbeat, and we're talking no laces. I was like 1 foot into a shoe, first step down the stairs, second step down the stairs is my boot is going on the other foot. And I'm honest to God, I took the staircase in 2 bounds to get down to this child. But one of my neighbours got there first, and oh my God, did she not just go through Sophie's mum like a dose of Epsom salts? I mean, we are talking seriously hardcore. What you doing leaving your child in the fucking street? This is ridiculous. This woman doesn't swear. You know, she's a proper lady, but she lost the plot completely with Sophie's mum. And you know something? Quite rightly too. You know, I mean, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? So long and short of it, Sophie's mum said, aye, well, she'll be all right. I was just going up to the house to get something. I mean, the kid was, the kid crying registered in my brain. There's a kid crying. When a kid's crying in the street, you go and look out the window, all right? But if you don't see anything straight away, it's just a kid crying. It could be a kid crying with his mum. Okay, you assume that the kid's okay. It wasn't until 5 minutes at least into this kid crying that I looked out the window again to see what had happened with the buggy, because the buggy was upright when I first looked. Second time was when it was down. But what do you do? You know, next thing that happened is Sophie's mum moved out. She did a, what we call a bunk. She did a bunk. She kind of left quickly under less nefarious, sort of more nefarious circumstances. Don't know. But never heard from her since. But I did find out what happened to Sophie. Okay, and the good thing about wee Sophie was after the police incident, because I asked Sophie's mum when she came round for nappies, "Where's Sophie? I've not seen Sophie for ages." And she's living with her dad now. Her dad spoiled her and just decided that he wanted to look after her. I went, "Really?" He says, "What happened with the police that day?" "Oh, we had a break-in and Sophie came back to the police there." Now, I think that's bullshit. I think something's happened and the police have been involved and actually taken Sophie away to live with her dad. Because whether it be neglect or whatever, but you know something, Sophie's okay now. She's with her dad. And as far as I've been led to believe, she's happy. Nobody deserves that. You know, you need a license to have a dog in certain circumstances, certain parts of the world. But it's your God-given right to have children, and I would never take that away or license having children at all. But some people are just not mentally capable of being a parent. My next big concern is wherever Sophie's mum is with the baby, is what's happening. You know? Yeah, I agree, Solway, that is totally crazy. Totally crazy. We now have a new tenant across the road. Yeah, sounds painfully familiar. Morning, Barry. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Hope you've been to bed, mate. We now have a new tenant across the road. So far, there's only been one shouty incident with his girlfriend, but it's all good so far. It's all good. There you go. That's the end of the Terrapin story and the end of the Sophie story as well. There you have it. Okay, tonight I'm going to be on about 10:30 tonight. We didn't do a watch party weekend, so we're going to talk through what we've kind of done to evolve everything between Instagram and YouTube. We're going to also touch on a bit of Covid Chronicles because we've not talked about the deeper rooted aspects of COVID-19 for a while. We've not taken news articles and dissected them. I want to invite Barry and Cognac and Jason as per usual to come on, and anybody else that feels that they want to say something about it. If you have something that you want to say, go and join our Discord, www.radioapocalypse.live/Discord. That will take you and give you an invitation. If you've been on the stream here today and we know your name, we know who you are, we'll just bring you in and bump you straight up to tier 3 so you can interact with us all. It's a nice little growing community of quite cool, eclectic people. So we're growing it slowly there, but we don't mind even if you bring a friend. If you've got a friend of a friend that's cool as well and you can vouch for them, we'll let them in too. Barry or myself will actually there. You'll be there. You've got a follow-up story for me. Great. Barry will be on with a follow-up story. Now, watch party weekend and the round table are kind of two things that we do together as a community. Round table is usually the program that I do on a Monday night, and that is on the back of watch party weekend. And watch party weekend is where we decide as a community a movie, a documentary or something like that to go and watch, and then sometimes we'll throw in something wacky like Crazy Inventions or something else that people can watch smaller clips on YouTube. We then invite the panel to come and talk about the good, the bad and the ugly of the movie. We kind of dissect it and look for the bits that we liked, and then maybe talk specifically about some of those points, and then we use the other stuff if it goes really quickly for the other things. Like when we did Inventions, that was really good fun, that particular one. But next Monday, a week today, we are doing everything Dark Crystal. So that is Dark Crystal the movie and Dark Crystal the television series. Okay, so I will be making the stream up and ready to go, and then hitting a countdown thing on Instagram for it. I'll make the overlay, the overlays, the pictures for it, so we can do it. So when that goes up, if you want to come and watch it, if you like the Dark Crystal, it's a bit weird. Okay, I've got to admit I never really got into it first time round, but this has been decided by the community, and I don't have a choice. I need to go and watch it again. So I'm going to be doing that this week. I'm going to start watching the TV show now, in fact, as soon as we finish this, and join us next week to talk about that. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we don't actually have programming dedicated for a Tuesday night as such, because Wednesday night is the human condition, and I'm going to be talking about toxic people in toxic relationships, and then tell a story from a friend of mine down south that lived in a toxic relationship for 17 years. It's a tragic story. It really is. And then Thursdays is officially now our Covid Chronicles, Tales of the Virus. And then Friday night is open mic night, which is basically an opportunity for the community to give us subjects with a panel to talk about. Saturday we don't broadcast, and Sundays are reserved for Serial Killer Sunday on my brother's channel and the Sunday papers in the morning. And that's kind of our programme. We'll talk in a bit more detail about that tonight and touch on a bit of the Covid Chronicles as well. That's us, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you've enjoyed the early version of the morning show. I will be doing it at 6:30 every morning from here on in. And then when I return to work, it will be even earlier. It will be like 5:45 in the morning, because I don't want to stop doing this. I enjoy it. I have to say, I wasn't enjoying the technology of Instagram. So with the use of this lovely mic, oh, do you hear that? I'm stroking the mic. Do you not think like snowballs look like that thing that stuck out the door of Jabba the Hutt's front door at his palace and spoke to C-3PO and Luke Skywalker? That thing, I think they do. Anyway, I don't have to shout to hear myself when I'm using this compared to my previous microphone. So I think we might get away with not disturbing my family as I stream with this microphone compared to the other microphone. Wow, it's totally sensitive when I whisper as well. This is Mojax Happy from Radio Apocalypse on the early morning show, giving you a tingly start to the day with ASMR vibes over your cerebral cortex. Oh yeah, tingly. And then I can make silly sounds as well. I don't like those sounds with ASMR. Right, let's have a drink and finish up. Thanks, Zoe. I'm in the process of recording Scottish ASMR as it is. It's going to be fun. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here today. Thank you for having fun with me in the early show. It's great that you're here. But I'm going to go now. I'm going to go and sit and watch the Dark Crystal and prepare some content for tonight to speak to you guys. 10:15 to 10:30, I think 10:30. That gives a chance for everybody to get to sleep. You have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.